After voting for Trump, his wife was arrested and detained by ICE for 49 days. After 49 days, suddenly, she was freed. Tyrone Bowman live. According to USA Today, an article written by Laura Villagrain, let's talk about this story. Bradley Bartell voted for President Donald Trump a month after Trump took office. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement arrested Bartell's Peruvian wife. But now, after 49 days in detention, Camilla Munoz is free. Bartell was waiting for her outside in 90-degree heat after an immigration judge released her on bond Friday. The jail captain, she opened the door. Munoz, 26, later told USA Today, Bradley was standing there sweating. I was sweating and my heart was beating so hard. I kissed him and we hugged and he said, let's get out of here. There's some photos there of the couple. Put them up there real quick. It was a huge relief to be able to have her out here with me again, said Bartell, who is 41, speaking to USA Today from their road trip home. It was just a huge weight off my shoulders. The couple's harrowing encounter with ICE, first reported by USA Today, went viral last month as Americans grappled with the scope of Trump's immigration crackdown. Bartell and Munoz, who is from Peru, met in the Dells, Wisconsin, and married last year after a 2-year courtship. They took a belated honeymoon to Puerto Rico in February, unaware that her decision to overstay a work-study visa during the pandemic lockdown 5 years ago could land her in ICE detention. At the San Juan airport, on their way home, federal agents pulled Munoz aside and asked if she was a U.S. citizen, though Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory in a domestic flight. She answered no, but said she and her husband had submitted the paperwork for her legal permanent residency. ICE detained her and later moved her to Louisiana. So here's another photo of Bradley Bartell and his wife Camilla Munoz, who has been, well, look at the photo. That's them in happier times. There are tons of people who have been representing the past couple of months who under previous administrations would have had zero issues with adjusting status, said David Rosas, a Louisiana immigration attorney representing Munoz. Trump's immigration crackdown is the new norm and will continue to wreak havoc on American families and instill fear among immigrants, he said. ICE didn't immediately respond to a request for comment. And I can tell you, I live in a neighborhood where there are a lot of immigrants. They're from Honduras, they're from Russia, they're from China, they're from Japan, they're from Ukraine, they're from Mexico, they're from Puerto Rico, and I haven't seen anything happening as of yet. For nearly 6 weeks, Munoz had no pending court date or bond hearing. She had no criminal background and faced no criminal charges. ICE has wide latitude to detain immigrants who violate the terms of their visa who are in an unfinished immigration process. Bartell, who has full custody of his 11-year-old son from a previous marriage, said he seriously considered moving the family if his wife was deported. It was just something that crossed my mind if everything went south, he said. When she called him, an 877 area code would flash on the screen and a warning that he was on a recorded line. She ended her voice recorded name with D. Bartell, a traditional way to add her marital name in Spanish. The days turned into weeks. February turned to March, then April. Bartell made the 15-hour drive to Monroe, Louisiana in March to visit Munoz. The immigrant woman detained at Richmond Correctional Center or allowed 1-2-hour visits per week. That's nothing more than a prison. Let's stop playing games here. The meeting was the couple's only face-to-face time together during the whole ordeal. I started to get scared, she said. I think wait a minute. Yeah, she drew a picture of her in her cell. Can you see that? Camellia drew a picture of her in her detainment cell. Whew. I started to get scared, she said. I met women who had been there 7 months, 8 months, people who think they're going to be Americans or have the green card. I wasn't the only one. There were a large number of people who are married. On February at 9 a.m., Munez attended her bond hearing with an immigration judge via video. The government's attorney told the judge, "This case has been in the news," Munez said. Patel had driven through the night from Wisconsin and watched the hearing on video from his car outside the detention center. The judge set a $3,000 bond. To get her out the same day, Bartel had to pay it in person, so he had drove another 4 hours round trip to the nearest ICE office in Oakdale, Louisiana. He didn't want her to spend another night locked up. It's tough hearing about people in for 7 months, Bartel said of other women who were detained with Munez. What's the logic? Why not use an ankle monitor? I'm glad I was able to get her out. Munez, who has no criminal record in the U.S. or her home country, still faces an immigration court process related to her visa overstay, separate from the couple's application for her green card, which is under review. She is scheduled to go home or scheduled to go before an immigration judge in mid-April. I understand Trump is doing his job as president, and these are the processes, she said. But the cases should move more quickly if people aren't associated with a gang or don't have a criminal record. The day after her release, the couple visited a Coca-Cola museum in Monroe, Louisiana before heading out on the road home to Wisconsin. She wrote their names and the date on a sticky note and snapped a photo with a Coca-Cola sign in the background, which you can see there. Sentimental things here. All right. She said that now that she is free, she is going to do what she can do for those who are still detained to raise money so they can buy food from the jail commissary or pay for expensive telephone calls to their families. Listen, y'all, let me get personal. Let me just say this to you tonight. I know what it is to be locked up. I know what it is to be in prison. I know what it is to be falsely accused for something. And people just continue to lie. And that's why I'm on a course and on the path to becoming a criminal justice reform advocate. That's why I'm studying law, because I don't ever want anyone else to be falsely accused, arraigned, tried, sentenced by an unjust judge, and spend 10 years in prison unjustly, lose everything you've ever worked for, and come out with a green trash bag with a little bit of stuff in it, like I had to do. I am on a mission. And that mission is real and it's sacred. So I'm going to leave that that article right there. Kindly consider subscribing to Tyrone Bowman Live. I'll be back later on with some more updates. Until then, never surrender, never quit. I appreciate you all. I appreciate every subscriber that we have. And for those who will become subscribers, I will try my best to bring you good, solid stories that hopefully can shed some light on some things, and hopefully it can help some people, along with some inspirational stuff from time to time, and some comedic stuff too. So until then, never surrender, never quit.